All right, so aside from the interface changes inside CS4, probably one of the biggest changes that I've been completely ignoring up until this point is the adjustments panel over on the right-hand side. Huge new feature here inside Photoshop CS4. This all relates to our adjustment tools or our color correction tools here inside Photoshop. So how it works here, I'll give you kind of a quick run through here. I have all these different icons relating to the different color correction tools inside Photoshop. So for example, there's my levels, my brightness contrast, my hue saturation. I'm going to give hue saturation a try here. So I'm going to click on this guy. And what that does is that loads in the hue saturation interface inside the adjustments panel. Now I can fiddle around with my sliders here. Here's my hue, my saturation, the amount of color, lightness, the amount of black or white inside the image. Now here's the real kicker. Here's the cool part. I'm going to go down to my layers palette down at the bottom. All of this is happening inside what we call an adjustment layer, which is a non-destructive layer inside the layers palette. Now, we have a whole chapter coming up on layers themselves, so we'll get into all of this. But the short and sweet is if I click on this little eyeball icon here, there's my original image, my original photograph underneath, unharmed. So this is a non-destructive way to apply effects or color corrections to my images. And it's all inside this new adjustments panel. So I'll just double click on the adjustments tab there, bring that back up here. Now what I could do, I could click on this little back button here and I could go and fiddle around with some of the other commands here, maybe monkey around with my levels here, for example. And once again, down in my layers palette, it's all happening inside another adjustment layer. So now I have two adjustment layers happening here inside my image. Now, the other thing that I can do, again, double click on the adjustments tab up at the top there. I'll go back here. You also have some presets in here. So each of my commands has some presets that are built in, which I could use to apply some really weird and wild effects if I want. Now, if I don't like that, I could click on this little trash can. That should remove that adjustment layer there and take me back to where I started. So all of this is non-destructive and I can apply them and remove them as I go. There's a little expand button here too, which you may want to use to give yourself a little bit more room inside the adjustments panel. So you can come in here and fiddle around a little bit, see what's what, see what kinds of effects you can apply to your images. I'm going to get rid of this guy here. Now, related to these presets, I should show you this. This is another new feature inside Photoshop CS4. Inside all of my color correction tools, I have these presets as well. I'm going to go Image, Adjustments, and then I'll choose my curves here, for example. Now, we'll talk about curves in more detail later on. There's the same presets right up at the top. There's this presets drop-down menu. So I could go cross-process if I want. No real effect there. Pull this guy down. Linear contrast. No real effect there either. Anyway, you get the idea. I could come in here, monkey around. I can even save and create my own custom presets if there's some kind of a special effect that I'm after. All right, now I want to get rid of all the adjustments that I've applied to this image here. The easy way to do that, as you saw earlier, I'm just going to go File and then all the way down to Revert and take myself back to where I started. Anyway, there you go. There's your adjustments panel. I'll collapse this panel back down to where I started.